Coming for that number one spot. Phillies, Rob Thomson said the NL East crown and more. That's what the Phillies are coming up for. Do you know that song? King, I'm coming for that number one spot.
Is that Luda?
Yeah.
See?
Look at you. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the PHLY Phillies podcast.
I know
Tyler
things.
Zulli, Jamie Lynch, myself, Renee Washington. I see the chat is rolling along. We've got Dave P in the chat. Chris Slemmer looks like, who was first though? Bum ba bum 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 bum.
Jay, what up,
Chris
Jay?
Slemmer was number one. Jay, yes. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Nice to have you here. Spiral Out as well. Happy 12th Tuesday of the New Year. Listen, Spiral Out, you're always consistent.
How could I forget it was the 12th Tuesday of the New Year?
That's so rude of you.
Tyler, did you set a calendar reminder for the 12th Tuesday of the New Year?
Of course.
Okay.
I mean, I have calendar reminders for my calendar reminders.
What up, Philly
exactly.
Insider?
It's nice to have all you
man,
here.
Spiral Out. What up?
We celebrate the little things, half birthdays and the day of the year. It's the 12th Tuesday.
The real thing to look forward to is not the 12th Tuesday. It's 9 days till opening day, right?
It's also
that's
apparently
something that if you want to,
it's the start of the spring.
Uh-huh.
Did you know that is
it officially?
That's what they said on the radio.
I thought daylight savings was, but whatever.
Whatever.
Who cares?
The first day of spring, apparently.
Freezing here.
It is so cold. Yeah, today is the first day of spring. It's the spring equinox.
Cool.
Tuesday, March 19th. And so also with that, we are 9 days, guys. 9 days away from opening day. I can taste it. It doesn't feel like it because it is very cold. And coming back from Florida made it feel even colder. And then Hypothetical Man, thank you for your condolences. Because, yeah, you forgot.
I'm not back on the Buckies. I was just out of my routine, Jay. I was running late today. 6 days away from the girls. I was a fucking mess this morning. Forgot to do their hair. I wasn't able to make coffee. Tomorrow I'll be back.
Hypothetical Man sending condolences for your hot sauce. Because Jamie had us waiting at TSA because this genius decided to bring a bottle of hot sauce in his carry-on bag.
All right.
Because he doesn't read and follow rules.
No, I know the rules. It's 3.4 ounces
and your
liquids.
bottle of hot sauce
was
like
5. I thought I could get 1.6 ounces by, and it wouldn't be a big deal. I should have given it to Tyler.
You should have poured it into a separate bottle.
If I had drank the 1.6,
yeah,
could I have then gotten through?
Right, that or you could have split it and had like another. If you had like a second empty bottle, because technically then it just is per bottle.
I should have just chugged
drank it.
Yeah, I should have chugged 1.6 ounces. Died. No, I could handle that. I've been paying for it today on the toilet, but I would have gotten my hot sauce through.
We are 5 minutes in, and we're talking about hot sauce and toilets.
They're good. TSA, you're good. You caught me. I thought I could get 1.6 ounces by you. And the worst part of it, Renee, I had 2 TSA agents going through my bag. They knew exactly where they were going and where it was.
Yeah, because they could see them on the monitor.
And he pulled the hot sauce bottle out. And he goes, do you want to go recheck your bag? And I was like, well, it's a $15 bottle of hot sauce. I'd have to take a tran car and go all the way back there and pay $30. I was like, no, just keep it. And I looked at them both and I go, but it's a really good hot sauce. You guys should take it home with you. And they go, we throw everything out, sir. And I was like, but just take it home. It's
but what if it was like a bomb or something?
It's not.
It's but like
a bomb for their asses the next day. But it was a really good hot sauce.
Dang, I see that on my easily for you. Okay, they don't know even if it's closed, it's just a stranger. It doesn't matter.
Oh, come on.
They're working in an airport.
They could have seen the love of hot sauce in my eye. This was serious business to me.
Yeah, and for them too, clearly.
God.
But listen, today, outside of talking about hot sauce, we're going to also,
Are you a hot sauce person?
Okay, let's see how well you know me. Do I or do I not like hot sauce, Jamie?
I think you do. No. Yes? No.
Trying to keep a straight face.
You're not giving me any reaction. I'm going to say yes.
That was a really tough poker face. You think I like hot sauce?
No, you don't like hot sauce.
Tyler, do I like hot sauce?
Yes. No.
Maybe. Sometimes. Depends on what the food is.
No, I don't like hot things.
Okay.
I don't like spicy things.
All right.
I do like it because I can wash it down with a nice cold glass of milk.
Yeah, we learned that Renee is insane. And just likes milk just to drink it.
Who doesn't drink milk? Shout out to those that drink milk in the chat that like to drink milk. A glass of milk with your breakfast, lunch, or dinner. You need to drink it with dinner.
Milk with cereal, sure.
Cereal, yeah.
No.
I would drink a chocolate milk,
So I
maybe.
like a nice, like, mild buffalo wings with, like, my cold glass of milk. To die for.
That's disgusting.
And Tyler, for somebody
I'm wearing hot sauce colors.
For somebody that doesn't like cheese, would you like to describe what Renee's lunch was yesterday from the airport?
So because we basically like saw each other 24/7 the next 6 days, this is what came out. We learned a lot about each other.
Do you guys remember the roller skating rink pizza that you would go to the roller skating rink as a kid and it'd be like microwavable instant pizza? It was like a step above Elio's basically. That's what it was, and it was covered in cheese, and I think it might have even been extra cheese.
And she ate it, right?
I like
the whole
pizza.
thing.
So you don't dislike cheese?
I don't like cheese. If cheese is the main ingredient, like mac and cheese, grilled cheese, ham and cheese, scrambled eggs with cheese, I don't want it. But if it's sprinkled in there very, very faintly, I can eat it. So like pizza.
All right. So pizza, I would say I would give the dough slightly the edge there in main ingredient.
Tomato sauce and dough.
But I would say cheese is more prevalent than tomato sauce.
But it's also
cheese is
like
the second.
A mozzarella cheese is literally all I can eat, basically.
Okay.
So I can eat like mozzarella sticks. I can eat pizza's kind of like mozzarella cheese. And then a cheesesteak, I have to like, but it has to have a lot of ketchup and stuff on it to almost like oversaturate the cheese.
Sure.
You realize that like I have control of your microphone at all times. I mean, if this gets to a point of insanity, I'm just gonna shut it off like I did there.
All right.
Chat, let's get a thumbs up for Renee liking cheese.
All right, listen. Here's our topics for today. We're gonna talk about Orion Kirkrig. We're gonna talk about what's going on with Blake Snell's deal, cleats, opening day cleats. We're going to get into our top 3 catchers. And yes, you guys get to hear what we learned a lot about each other over the last 6 days, basically living together. I don't like cheese, but I do like pizza. And then also, shout out to everybody in the chat. I think it was Spiral Out and Hypothetical Man or K-Red talking about drinking milk with your dinner. In college, I used to drink milk every single meal. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, every day, every meal, I would have milk with my food. Highly recommend it. So Neil, Martian, Spiral Out, Chris. Oh yeah.
My cousin likes milk with his like pasta.
Yeah, that's what somebody said in the chat.
Yeah.
With spaghetti. I think it was K-Red that actually. I'm sorry, I can't see the chat.
My wife will do that.
Let me go to my individual chat.
My wife's family originates from like upstate New York, the North Country. So like that makes sense to me. You know, it's cold up there. They drink a lot of milk. Their teeth are strong. But my cousins, like, they do it with their pizza. It must be something nostalgic with your childhood. Did your parents make you finish your milk before you got up from the table when you were younger?
No, actually, only my mom and I like milk. Like, nobody else in my family even drinks milk.
I was forced. This is where my dislike of a glass of milk comes from. I was forced as a growing boy to finish my milk before
Milk's good for you.
It is. It's great for you.
That
doesn't mean I like drinking it.
It's healthier for you than cheese.
Yeah, sure. But like the fact that I was forced to drink it made me dislike it. Does that make sense?
I think I could survive off of milk.
Oh my God.
Like I'm getting like my body actually like craves milk if I don't drink it.
You said that as
like
we went out to brunch yesterday.
This week I didn't drink milk all week, guys, until yesterday, and my body was like,
the mudslides had some milk in it.
I didn't drink a mudslide.
I drank a bunch of them.
Yeah, I didn't drink that. So yeah,
delicious.
Nice to have all of you here. Happy Tuesday. We're back. Let's get into some baseball. Because as much as I'm enjoying this, it's making me want a glass of milk. And so I have to move on. Yesterday, we had some updates come out. Rob Thomson, Kyle Schwarber, Garrett Stubbs had a chance to do some interviews with WIP. We also got some just updates from Todd Zalecky around the team. Just some news going on. First things first, Rob Thomson says, coming for that #1 spot. He didn't say it like that, but I kind of wish he did. That would have made it so much better.
King Kong. Do you think Rob's a big Luda
guy? No.
Okay.
That'd be actually pretty interesting if he was secretly a big Ludacris fan.
I mean, Luda is
I feel like that should be the song of the. Let's add that to the Clubhouse playlist, because if you got to manifest it, you know, and if you're rocking out to some Ludacris every day, #1 spot, it's probably going to help you, evolve into that #1 team. So Rob Thomson did say.
You want to know my favorite Ludacris line of all time?
Oh boy.
No, I'm not going to say it. It's dirty.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you, when you travel with children, it's very difficult. And traveling with middle school boys is even more difficult. It didn't help that like you guys and someone like Thomas is like, blah, 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 blah.
I'm glad you guys got to experience Hollis.
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you
He's
guys
the
are
man.
children. You guys are children.
Yes, he's a giant.
And I spent the entire week with middle school boys.
He is a giant
because you guys
12-year-old.
are ridiculous.
But how fun is he to be around?
It's fun, but you guys don't ever turn that off.
But Hollis is the man. It was good to hang out with him.
It was fun hanging with him and everybody. Again, shout out Philly Sports Trips. 13 minutes in, we have talked about ludicrous, cheese, hot sauce, poop, basically.
This is why people come here, Renee.
Welcome to the PHLY Phillies podcast. All right, so Rob Thomson was saying,
where I get my baseball talk. That's right. We'll give you hot sauce talk and poop talk, milk talk.
That's such a weird combination.
It is.
So Rob Thomson said on WIP that it's very important for the team to go out and win the division. The NL East is a major goal for this season. Of course, they want more than just that. That's not the end-all, be-all. But that was mentioned along with his discussion about Bryce Harper's back. Of course, we talked about that yesterday on our show live. Bryce Harper is back, but his back issues are back as well. He's not back playing yet, though, unfortunately.
Friday, I think they
Friday
said
is the anticipation that he will be back. Lots of back talk.
I'm totally
Friday.
cool with him shutting down for the rest of spring training.
Well, listen. Here's
fine with
what,
it.
okay, so I had a moment.
Because Rob said he took it away from him. It wasn't like Bryce was like,
he shut him down.
Yeah, he mentioned it, and Rob was like, nope, I took that away from him, shut him down for a couple days. If you want to shut him down till, a bullpen session or, a hitting session next Tuesday or Wednesday back home, fine with it. Just
listen,
don't take any chances.
As I was getting out of my lift to go into my house, and I stepped out the car, and my knee went out, and I was like, geez, I'm old. I'm Bryce's age. We're the same age. I'm like, you know what? This is why. Because you randomly have these aches and pains, back, knees, hip.
My neck and my back.
Yeah.
I'll sell out of court right now for $20.
Pick a body part that randomly just hurts.
What movie?
Then no. And then my knee was fine.
Smokey.
Like it just randomly goes out and then you're fine. So I'm all for shut him down for a little bit. Make sure he's fresh for opening day. It's 9 days away. There's no need at this point to overextend yourselves. Especially since the team has bigger goals this season. It's not about being fresh in spring training. It's not about even starting the season off great, although that's a very small goal we all have for the Phillies. Don't start off with a slump and in a hole, and now you're chasing the Braves the entire season. Start off much better. But overall, it's such a long season, you want to make sure you're not overextending yourself. So Rob Thomson mentioning something that we already know. Of course, we understand, and we've already heard the complaints about the playoffs that come out of Atlanta because it's so hard being someone that has a bye in the first round.
Look, this is a safe space, right? Everybody in the chat, you got my back. We're not going to go tell Atlanta sports market because I've already been hated down there once before. I'm gonna whisper this, Renee, because this is something I actually do believe. Brian Snedeker's right. I fully believe taking 5 days off is not an advantage. And look, it sucks. A 3-game series, anything can happen. Kyle Schwarber talked about it yesterday with the camera and Richie and said, we want to win the division because anything can happen in a 3-game wild card. But I think you've seen it. It's not an excuse. I think it's reality. Baseball players are such creatures of habit and routine. And when you take away that stadium atmosphere, you can play as many simulated games as you want. That doesn't simulate adrenaline. That doesn't give you the rush of playoff baseball. I think shutting down for 4 or 5 days is a disadvantage. I think Brian Snedeker is right. Now, this isn't to say I want the Phillies to go out and not win the division because I would take them winning the division. But I do think it's a disadvantage because usually the team that is coming off that 3-game wild card series, has a little bit of momentum, and it's momentum meeting a stopped force. And it's just like, I think Snedeker's right. I know people want to roast him a little bit, but I've believed that since last year. I mentioned it in the playoffs. I think it's a disadvantage to shut down and lose that routine and game atmosphere and all of it. So I want the Phillies to win the division because it guarantees home playoff games.
Right.
And the Phillies have the best record in baseball with home playoff record in modern baseball. So you want to guarantee yourself some home playoff games, but I completely understand where Snedeker's coming from. I think it sucks to not play. I don't think it's the advantage that they envisioned it being. Yes,
Yeah.
you get to get your pitchers in order. You get to give some guys some rest, but you lose. Like, these guys play 6 days a week.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, earlier, if you guys missed it earlier this month, Braves manager Brian Snitker did mention on Foul Territory show, because the Braves have been eliminated the last 2 seasons in the playoffs by the
who,
Phillies,
Renee?
of course by the Phillies.
Yeah.
And he's not happy about it. And he actually was saying, it's one thing for the All-Star break because everybody has off. So everybody's dealing with that same reset of having off. But come playoff time, you're now giving guys off when the rest of the, your opponents are still playing. And he was saying, when you haven't had, 5 days of actual game playing, it's tough to get back going. And so he's saying, we had a team that set all these records and everything offensively, and we didn't hit much in the postseason. I don't think it's approach. I think it's a system, quite honestly. So he's blaming the shortcomings in the postseason on the format. And what I actually recognize that just happened, it's not just baseball, because I was involved, as you know, with the A10 championships, and they have a format where the top 4 seeds get a double bye. And 7 out of 8 teams that had a double bye lost in the quarterfinals. Their very first game back, they lost. I mean, it's hard for athletes to have routine, and then you just stop. Now you have your opponents who are getting this momentum. It's exciting. You're winning playoff games. You're celebrating in the locker room, in the clubhouse. You're rolling, and then you're ready to go. Versus the other team that's like, great, we clinched the division, got that number 1 spot, but now we're done. And now you go from everything being ramped up. You play baseball every single day, and then all of a sudden you're just done. Yeah. And you're not playing for a week.
I think
just waiting.
It's kind of like Snicker is making an excuse while not making an excuse. I don't think you want to hear your manager cry about it.
Because it's a thing that
but I think there's truth to it.
You strive to win. Yeah, you strive to win your division, to be able to have off, get healthy. You do your simulated games. You work through the routine. To me, that's where, as a manager, you got to figure out how to best emulate what that routine is like. I know they try with the simulated games. It's not going to be the same, but it's also something that's hard to complain about. Like you crush all these offensive records and are fantastic the regular season, and back-to-back seasons fall short to the Phillies. That's not... The league's not going to change because you guys aren't doing well. When there are teams, and I know I saw in the chat, like K-Red saying, like, it's, a double. Something like it's doable. There are teams that have been given that number 1 spot, get the buys, and come out, and they win. So it's not something that's going to change, I don't think. But it is a weird system.
Yeah, and hypothetical, man, I completely agree. Fuck the Braves. But I don't feel any ounce of sadness or pity for them. I'm just talking about from the formatics of the baseball thing. I just don't think. Yes, you get to set up your rotation, but like,
because on the reverse side of it, let's say you are you have to play in the wild card round. You have to play. Now your guys are more tired. They didn't get time off. Like, there's always an argument on either side when you lose. Let's just call it what it is. If the Braves were to come out and win and not get knocked off by the Phillies in the last 2 seasons, they're not having these complaints. But because they lost, it's easy to point the finger at, the reason why we lost and why our hitting was suddenly bad was because of the bye. And sure, that could be a reason, but we don't take excuses here. We don't factor in these excuses. All we focus on are results. And you know who else factors in some great results for you? Boom,
what a tie-in.
Factor meal kits. That's right. Eating better becomes a lot easier with Factor's delicious, ready-to-eat meals. They've got everything is fresh, never frozen meals, chef crafted. They've got dietitian approved meals ready to go in just 2 minutes. So you don't have to worry about the wait. There is no buy. There is no downtime. You're always ready to eat whenever you want some delicious meals. They've got 35 different options to choose from every single week, including Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and keto options. They also have 60 add-ons to help you stay fueled up and ready to go all day feeling good. So I don't know what you're waiting for. Get started today. You can head over to Factor Meal Kits today. Get the opportunity to take advantage of their 2-minute meals where you can fuel up with their restaurant quality meals. Again, never frozen, always ready to heat and eat whenever you are. No prep, no mess, no having to worry about what's for dinner today. I hate that struggle. I don't know about you guys. Every day, and we dealt with that this last week of like, what do we want for dinner today? What do we have taste for? What do I feel like eating for lunch or for breakfast? You don't have to worry about that with Factor Meal Kits. They're flexible, so they also allow you to choose your meals every week. You can pause. You can reschedule your deliveries anytime. So having food delivered to your front door that's healthy, that's good for you, that's always ready to eat. So you can head to factormealkits.com/Phillies Phillies50. That's the Phillies 50, and use code Phillies50 to get 50% off. Again, that's code Phillies50 at factormealkits.com/Phillies50 to get 50% off. They've got everything: smoothies, they've got midday snacks, they've got a lot of different options for you. So very, very great opportunity to eat well, simplify your meals, and also have a chance to focus more on the important things of the day.
Yeah, I'm already dreading going home tonight to my wife and saying, "What's for dinner?" Because I haven't done any of the shopping. So it would be nice if there was just something waiting
right now.
waiting for me. But, when you're making those decisions and sometimes you're trying to figure out what to cook for dinner, what's nice while you're waiting and biding the time? Reaching in the fridge and grabbing a ice cold, delicious Miller Lite. I had a bunch of them this weekend with friends down in Clearwater Beach. And the beautiful thing about Miller Lite is it's the beer drinker's light beer. It tastes like a light beer should. And the next best thing about Miller Lite is it's pretty much everywhere beer is sold. We had one at Chickies in the airport before we left. We had one in the air. We had one at the airport while waiting in Tampa. We had one at the stadium at Baycare Complex. We had one at the hotel. Miller Lite is everywhere. You know why? Because beer drinkers like the taste of Miller Lite. It's the original light beer since 1975, and it's still the best one. Miller Lite has all the taste you want and less of the stuff you don't want. And when friends or family are coming over, it's nice. We have the girls out back. We're playing in the yard, playing in the swing set. My cousin comes down. It's nice to have an ice cold Miller Lite in our hands because Miller Lite keeps it simple, undebatable quality, great taste, and only 96 calories. My daughter said, "Dad, you have a big belly," the other day. And I said, "I know. I have to stop drinking those hazies and double IPAs. It's Miller Lite season." 96 calories, the original light beer since 1975. And times change, but you can always enjoy the great taste of Miller Lite. Tastes like Miller time. You can even get Miller Lite delivered right to your door. Visit MillerLite.com/PHLY Phils, and you can find it pretty much everywhere beer is sold. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories per 12 ounces.
Wow. So you also have a chance you can get your meals delivered to your door.
And
you can get your beer delivered to your door.
96 calorie beer.
And we're giving you a discount? Like, what?
Are we nuts?
This is a game changer. What else?
No, we're totally sane.
That's exciting. We're in 2024. There's so many options for delivery. It's great. So as we're talking about the routine, and yes, I agree with you guys in the chat. Teams that lose always have an excuse why they lose. There's always a reason. And so nobody is taking any pity on the Braves at all because there have been, as you guys are mentioning in the chat, plenty of teams that were a 1 seed and won the World Series or at least got past that first round. So excuses. We don't stand for excuses around here. We need a no excuses sign, actually.
Yeah, but Kyle and Rob both talked about, that's the goal of the season is to win the division. We want to guarantee home playoff games. Mm-hmm. We don't want to start the season slow.
Another big part of that.
And Rob said we are so much further along this year than we were last year at this point.
Yeah.
So I do expect a above competent start by the Phillies this year, and it's going to be a hell of a fun season.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When you look at the World Baseball Classic, injuries in the past, late roster moves, the team right now, as much as people may have been frustrated feeling like the Phillies are just running it back with the same group, they are much further along. They're healthier so far, knock on wood.
Ranger, he mentioned.
Their progress is a lot further. Yep, that's exactly like the where guys are in their schedules a lot further along. Unfortunately, the one that's along with Bryce Harper that's now recently came up that's not as far along and might not be making an opening day start, Orion Kerkering, who's dealing with a respiratory infection. Now, this just came out within the last 24 hours because a little bit after our show yesterday, actually. Of course, we had a nice early show yesterday. That Orion is dealing with some sort of the flu. And the 22-year-old might not be ready. And what was interesting, the reason I want to highlight his name, his age, words, is because...
Use them. You got this.
Is because Rob was mentioning... He's 22 years old. We're not going to push this thing. And I know people on Twitter were like, what does his age have to do with like the flu or a respiratory infection? Because you can get that at 22, 32. Like it doesn't change. But he's like, there's no rush.
We have somebody in the office going through some respiratory issues.
Exactly.
Right now. Something's going around.
Orion hasn't pitched since March 1st because of the flu. It is currently March 19th. And to hear that he is scheduled to throw at the complex sometimes this week, even if that's at the Carpenter complex, he is scheduled to get some throws in. But they're slow walking this. He's only 22. There's no reason to rush this thing, as Rob is saying. And it has others wondering, like, is there more to this? Is it more than just the flu? I didn't think about it that way. And I think he really is just sick. And being sick also, as anybody that's ever dealt with the flu, pneumonia, any bronchitis, any sort of infection, if you don't nip that in the bud, I had a friend that had a lingering infection and like never fully took off to get better and just kept like rushing back. And then it ended up being way worse. And to me, that's kind of where Rob's going with this of like, give him this time now. The season hasn't started. Take your time, rest, sleep, feel better, because you don't want this coming back again worse because you didn't take time to take your antibiotics and eat and sleep and hydrate and everything.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, we saw he walked right by us at the picnic tables where we were broadcasting. I mean, he looked fine.
He looked fine to me.
He was coming from a workout. But it sounds like, it's same thing with Bryce. Like, I don't give a damn. Shut down for the next 10 days.
Yeah.
Get ready for opening day. So it looks like he's probably going to be delayed to start the year. Even if he's healthy, he's probably behind in his throwing program.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. Oriion's a huge, he's an integral part of this team's success this year. It's not like they can't recover, because you didn't know about Jeff Hoffman this time last year. You didn't know some of these guys would kind of step up.
Exactly.
But I think Sir Anthony and Orion are huge pieces to this bullpen this year. So just get them right, and whatever that takes, you can deal with it if he misses the first week.
Are we going to even be thinking about who was on the opening day roster come September, October?
No. And this is another thing, actually, that Rob said in the interview when talking about the 40-man roster. He said, look, Dave and I and all the other coaches have to get together this week and make some tough decisions. Mm-hmm. But he said the thing about camp, this is the most guys they've had in camp, I think in 3 years. I think he said they've had 60. It was either 60 or 62 guys in camp this year. And he said that's so important because the last 2 years, I think last year they used 48 guys during the season. And the year before that was 54 between options and call-ups and injuries and this and that. And he was like, it's so nice to have all these guys in camp so they can get familiar with one another. He's like, we have guys take infield practice with Trey and Bryson so that they're familiar with each other's kind of movements and routines and all of that. And there's that familiarity that when we do call up a Michael Mercado or we call up, a Weston Wilson or whoever else is down there, that they can just seamlessly fit right in. And I was like, damn, I didn't even think about that. But 54 guys contributing to a season is pretty wild. So, this is all the opening day roster is nowhere near set in stone. And this is where the options come into play big time in the decision-making process. So it's going to be interesting. There's a rumor out there they might reduce the roster some today. So you could look for a couple cuts today. We'll see if David Dahl hangs on or not. He could be one. Cody Clemens possibly could be sent to minor league camp. So there could be some slight roster movements this year. But Rob said normally they'd have a smaller roster by now. But because of this bug that went around with Orion and other guys, they've needed the bodies. So it looks like they're about to trim the roster. And I guess we'll get an early glimpse of what the 40-man some of those fringe pieces, like does a David Dahl have a chance? Does, probably not. Does Cody Clemens have a chance? Probably not. So those guys might get sent into the minor league camps this year or today or this week.
Yeah, and we had heard earlier in spring training that there was a cold that was going around the team. It had run through a few people. It was like Christopher Sanchez, Scott Kingery, Mick Abel. There were some guys earlier in spring training that were dealing with colds. That's part of it too. Like this happens so often with any sort of like spring training or preseason for teams and sports that because you're around each other every day and you're in close quarters and you're hanging out with each other after training, you're going out to eat and everything, that one person gets sick, it just kind of rolls right through. And it seems like Orion, like it's still kind of trickling through the team and now has reached Orion. So to keep him separate, even when we saw him at spring training, he was by himself. He's probably just kind of staying a little bit more isolated, working back to get healthy, and there's definitely no rush. Like we're talking about And no, K-Red, you're saying you'll have forgotten the roster by May. Like,
Yeah.
whoever, if you're putting all this, for anybody putting all this emphasis on the opening day roster, that means your team's not a post, like, the goals for this team are so much bigger than who makes the opening day roster and who's gets that start. Like, it's so much bigger than that. And so for this team, it's getting, I like Rob mentioned it, but it also was talked about even back when coming into spring training. They wanted to keep it small because it is giving you that chance to have those conversations and interact with each other. And now it's easier to make moves because the guys feel a little bit more connected versus bringing in this huge group and you're just a number. So this gives guys even motivation, knowing, like you said, like Michael Mercado, for example, knowing, okay, I can get the call up, but I got to stay ready, and giving you a little bit more drive to want to be ready. So I'm all for it. I think there's nothing wrong with resting, especially if Orion, for example, it's still lingering. Rest, get better, start off on the IL if needed, and then make sure you can get back to that routine whenever he does join in to the team and make his debut this season. But, it's just exciting because it's a great time. We're getting closer and closer to opening day. We've got exciting things coming around opening day. If you guys haven't had a chance to already see, we are continuing to share the details around our opening day itinerary. We will be live at Bet Parks Casino. We will have some great opportunities to interact with you guys and be able to hang out. And so some exciting times
and to
coming
clarify,
your way.
Bet Parks down by the stadiums,
Yes,
not Bet Parks in Bensalem. Happy to be reunited with my friends over at Bet Parks, and it'll be great. So if you're down tailgating, if you're going to be down there early, if you just want to come hang with us, we'll have some great Miller Lite giveaways. We'll have, the beers will be flowing, and it's opening day. Bunting flags will be out. I think opening day should be a national holiday. And the biggest pet peeve I have every opening day is that Friday there's no baseball.
I know. It's like you get excited Thursday and then Friday there's like nothing.
But yes, please come down if you're in the area. Swing by the Bet Parks right there by the stadiums. Come hang out with us and we'll crack a Miller Lite.
Oh, yeah. And definitely, if you feel like getting out the house, coming to hang with us, you're more than welcome to. But if you want to stay home and do something and be productive, Empire today has an opportunity for you to shop at home conveniently. That's right. Let's say you are staying at home and you want something. Not only can you get food delivered to your door and drinks and everything else, you also can get all that you need for your flooring done right in your house. There's no reason to leave home in 2024, basically. So with Empire today, you can shop at home with their virtual floor designer, giving you a chance to take a snapshot of your room, of the home, see how that flooring looks. How does that carpet match with my curtains or my couch? How does the backsplash of my kitchen match the flooring? So you have a chance to really simplify the process. It makes it so much easier that now as you're shopping, you don't have to feel overwhelmed. You're not going through a huge store looking at all these different samples and trying to picture these thousands of choices in your home. You can see it directly there. They give you not only the convenience of virtual at-home floor designer, but also just making it a lot simpler for you when you're shopping for floors. Great prices, great options, professional installation, quick and professional installation, and they've got the right products for your home needs. And with a price match guarantee, you also don't have to worry about breaking the bank in order to install that new flooring into your home. So with Empire today, we all know the jingle, but we also know the great quality, the great service, the great speed, and the great opportunities that they have to be able to renovate to your home, fix things up, add something new when you're putting in flooring. And so you can schedule a free in-home estimate today. That's right. Everybody that's tuned in listening, you can take advantage of a free in-home estimate today. And you can also receive a $350 discount when you use the promo code PHLY. There are some restrictions that may apply, but head on over to empiretoday.com/PHLY for details. And again, with that promo code PHLY, you'll be able to get $350 off, which is a great discount to now add to already the convenience, the great products, the great prices, to now also get an additional discount with that code PHLY.
Yeah, and of course, if you need help finding your new home, or maybe you just need help improving the rate or the HELOC you might be taking out on your house, you should absolutely reach out to Mortgage CS and our friends Alec and Ben over at Mortgage CS. I actually probably need to talk to them about my HELOC that we took out to do a kitchen. So I will be reaching out to them very shortly. Mortgage CS is a white glove service. They're an independent mortgage broker based right here in Philadelphia. And what does that mean? Well, it gives them full control of the lenders they work with. And Mortgage CS is licensed all over the place, coast to coast, from California and Colorado down to Florida and Maryland, New Jersey, Maine, Delaware, all over. If we saw a nice place we could have afforded in Clearwater Beach, Alec and Ben could have helped us shop around. They could have educated us some on the process and empowered us so we didn't feel like we didn't know what we were talking about. They help their clients obtain ultra competitive rates out there. They compare rates between multiple lenders and find a deal that makes the most sense for you. The other thing, if you're not, immediately in the mortgage market, if you've been through it before, you know what a pain in the ass it can be. And if you want to, say, buy a place in a year from now, talk to them now, get your ducks in a row. They help you go through your credit and, find anything that might get in the way of helping you make the best offer on your maybe dream house, maybe your first house, whatever it may be. When you hear the word mortgage, think of Mortgage CS. Think of Alec and Ben. And you can call or text Ben, the CEO, at any time. This dude is a workaholic. 267-391-7425. You can text him right now. You can even talk to him about the 40-man roster of the Phillies. Whatever you want to talk to him about, they're there for you 24/7. And the way, offers go in on houses, you need somebody that's going to be there 24/7. I found out we got our house at 10:07 p.m. one night, and we had to talk to our previous mortgage person, and they weren't answering. And it was driving me and my wife nuts. When you have Ben's cell phone number, he'll be there for you immediately. These guys are the best kind of workaholics. So save that phone number, 267-391-7425. You can email Ben and Alex anytime. Ben's email is ben@mortgagecs.com. You can check out mortgagecs.com/PHLY to get started. And the advertisement is not a commitment to lend or extend credit. Mortgage CS is an equal housing opportunity mortgage broker. All loans are subject to credit approval. Certain restrictions may apply. Company NMLS ID 1464766. Visit mortgagecs.com for more information. And what up, Dr. Nighthawk from Colorado?
Dr. Nighthawk
hello.
is in the building, the virtual building. Listen, Barbara, Dave, Philly Insider, Tim. What's up, Tim? Who's reminding everybody about that free Ritas. Yes, you can go get some free Ritas today. It's never too cold for Ritas.
I will take the girls there today.
I love a nice Swedish fish gelati.
I took the girls when I left last Tuesday after school pickup. I was like, all right. Dad's going away. Let's pump you full of some sugar. Let's go get some Ritas.
That's the way to do it. Dave, Mickey, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button while you're here. I know you guys are talking about a variety of different things, postseason conversations going on, Rita's conversation. And yes, I did see mention of our very own Johan Rojas. Let's talk about Johan Rojas. Now, today's takeaways are presented by Factor. You can use code Phillies50 to get 50% off your first Factor box and free wellness shots for life with any active subscription at factormeals.com/Phillies50. Today's takeaways, we're talking about Johan Rojas. Yoro, and yes, guys, while we were in spring training, I did make sure to plant the seed with some different Phillies folks of like, listen, we've been talking about the nickname Yoro. Let's help it make it stick. I also got thumbs up.
That was the most important part of the trip.
It was, honestly. Sarcasm. But they liked the nickname. I did get some approval from the nickname. Preston Mattingly even liked it. I mean, if he likes it, we love it. So Preston Mattingly and company, everybody thumbs upped it for the most part. So Yoro was sticking. You guys just make it happen in the chat. It's happening, guys. It's happening. What also we hope is happening is some better at-bats for Johan Rojas. Now, as we know, this spring training has been a big part of the development for Yoro and just being that everyday center fielder. He was asked about it and about how things have been going so far. And he did have a quote going out saying, right now I don't care about the results. Of course, if I had good results, it's great. But right now I'm focusing on the process of everything. I feel like I'm learning a lot of new stuff. I don't feel like the player that I was last year. Once I feel it click, the new things that I'm getting used to, everything else is going to come with it. And the best version of himself is going to follow. And as we know, Yoro has been struggling at the plate. He's definitely trying a lot of new things, which is a big part of that. But when you look statistically, as he's trying to win that everyday center fielder job, batting only a 171 batting average. He's 7 for 41 at bats with 1 double, 2 triples, 4 RBIs, and a .483 OPS in the 42 Grapefruit League plate appearances that he's had. He also did go 0 for 3 with a strikeout in Monday's game versus the Yankees in that loss to them. The results doesn't matter. But as we know, Rob Thomson and the Phillies have already mentioned several times that it's, up to Yoro to prove that he can be that everyday center fielder, that also decisions haven't been made. He is improving when talking about him. They said he is improving. But we also know on the other side of it, as was mentioned in chat by Mickey, Christian Pache has been playing fantastic. He's been so consistent. His numbers are complete opposite. And he's been giving great at-bats, hitting home runs, scoring runs, getting RBIs, whatever, just being consistent and giving good at-bats. Yoro is also striking out at a lower rate this spring than last season, 19% compared to last season's 25.6%. Of course, a much smaller sampler size. But he's been focusing on chasing, doing a better job of chasing less pitches, his control, being able to understand when to swing and being a little bit more patient. A lot of new things that they're implementing for Johan, Jamie. And so far, it hasn't been great, but it is just spring training.
Yeah, Rob talked about it in the interview yesterday on WIP. He said, we've been working on some stuff, and I do think he's close to turning a quarter. He said his lower half isn't yet syncing up with his top half, and they've been working on his front step, and he's not quite there yet. He said on the inverse of that, JT has also been working on that front step, and he's the best JT Rob has seen yet. In terms of this early in the season. He really thinks he fixed his swing. He thinks Johan is close to getting the timing down with his lower half. But the reality of the situation is not great. All right, so to be fair, I am a optimistic sports fan. So I always like to give some positive before I give some negative to tell both sides of the story. This was from Todd Zalecki yesterday. Rojas chased an eye-popping 40.4% of his pitches out of the zone last season. That number in the postseason jumped up to 43.5%. So far in spring, he has a chase rate of just 35.1% of pitches outside of the zone this spring. So there's your positive spin. He looks as though he at least has a different mental approach or maybe a better understanding of the strike zone. Yeah. So there's the positive, okay? Now I'm going to give you the negative. Angel on one shoulder, devil on the other. If you combine Johan Rojas's postseason with his at-bats from this spring, and as of yesterday when I was doing some reading, Johan has led the team in at-bats this spring. Pache did get kind of minimized there for like 2 or 3 weeks, but now you're seeing more Pache again. I think we can all read some tea leaves there a little bit. Rob said still no. He didn't say Rojas is on the 40-man to start. He did not confirm that. He said, we'll see. So here it is. His postseason last year with his at-bats this spring, it totaled, as of yesterday, 84 at-bats. He's hitting 119 in those 84 at-bats. So clearly working on things, getting better at his chase rate, not yet translating to in the batter's box success. So what does it mean? To be honest with you, I have no idea. If I had to guess, I think there's a 50-50 chance he starts the year in Lehigh Valley. But, as we got to ask Larry Boa on Saturday, and Larry's in that dugout. He's there. Right. He knows these guys. He knows their personalities. He's worried that you would lose Rojas's confidence. And he would go down there and sulk. And the kid feels like he's a major league player. He was a center fielder on an NLCS team. It could be a big blow to the confidence. So, look, what Kyle Schwarber talked about with WIP was that the reason Rob is so good as manager is that he knows every guy personally, individually, goes out of his way to connect with them. So Rob has a much better understanding of what's going on between Johan's ears. And if he feels as though that Boa is right and his confidence could be shot going down, maybe that nudges him up to the opening day roster. But if you're just basing it on results right now, me personally, I would send him down to get confidence. I don't know. And look, as soon as he starts hitting, bring him up. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be a month and a half. Yeah. If he starts the season out hot and looks like he fixed that lower half, upper half sinking, then bring him right back up. You know, like the 40-man roster doesn't really mean anything for opening day, but like the success isn't there yet. So I for one am worried if he gets 60 at bats to start the year and he's hitting 119. What does that do to his confidence?
Yeah.
And you know, Christian Pache and him are very similar players. They're not going to have great on bases. They're not going to have great averages. They're both going to give you plus defense. Like, you know, it might be a little safer to start Pache, but then there's the righty thing with him. And so Todd also went on to say that if Rojas isn't the opening day center fielder, he thinks they're going to go with Marsh in center and Witt in left. And then that becomes another thing you have to monitor because Witt, you kind of the silver lining of Witt is it gives you so much flexibility, but you also don't want to wear him down because you saw his numbers last year get worse over the year as he wore down. So Witt is kind of best served playing 3 or 4 days a week, not being your everyday left fielder. So these are the discussions they're going to have this week. It's pretty interesting, but yeah, Johan isn't having the success yet that should say opening day center fielder.
I know. It's tough to see because obviously this has been, and listen, I think part of it that is the reality is there's so much pressure right now. You know, Johan Rojas is constantly being asked about it. We know that's been the focus. And I wonder how much will he be able to just step out of that and just focus on playing, focus on, you know, just the little things if he starts off, you know, in the minors, or if he starts off with, you know, and is the everyday center field. That's the other part of it. Like, I'd like to see him get to a point where he doesn't have to think about this. You cannot play sports overthinking, okay, am I going to strike out this time? Am I going to be able to, you know,
and quick clarification, Tyler just pointed this out to me. He is on the 40-man. I mean the 26-man opening day roster.
Right. But being so focused on all the little things of your game takes away from just being able to play. And I know Kevin Long was even mentioning, you know, it's getting there. It's not all the way there. But, you know, I keep telling these guys, this is the hardest 15% you'll have. There's a lot of good things that Johan is doing. It's just that last part that's probably the hardest, and getting him to do something that seems a little bit unnatural for him. And when you're making these tweaks and trying to improve things and you're constantly being asked about it, yes, that's part of being an athlete. Don't get me wrong. But at some point, I would love to see him be able to just play, just go. And, you know, try. He doesn't need to be someone that's hitting 20-plus home runs, but he needs to be someone that can at least give you solid at-bats to keep the inning alive. Whereas we saw down the stretch at times, inning was ending with him. So I'd love for him to get to a basic level of whatever that goal is that they have for him, a basic level of giving you something at-bat, bunting, whatever it is, just not striking out, not chasing pitches. And so Johan Rojas is an interesting one because as we've talked about yesterday and we've had many conversations and even asking Larry Boa about it, you know, what will best help his confidence? Success at a lower level or failure at a higher level? Like, that's a tough gamble because you don't know. Everybody's mechanics and mentality is so different, and understanding, listen, we're gonna send you down, but we have faith you're gonna come back up. We want you to go down there, continue working on things. Like, the conversations are so important to let him know, regardless what decision is made, the belief that you have in him.
And Kyle Schwarber said that also part of, you know, Rob's greatness is that he tells you like it is.
Exactly.
So,
and you need that. Like, that's what your manager should do. Instill that, like, transparency.
When you know the guy cares about you and he tells it like it is, then you can fully digest that and hear it. So, you know, Rob's positives that he brings to this organization. After listening to Kyle yesterday, I was like, okay, damn. Like, Rob Thomson, he said if anything were to happen with Rob, all 26 guys are jumping over that railing and going to fight for him. And he's like, that's the highest compliment I can give a baseball manager. So Rob is loved in that locker room. So if Johan has to hear some tough news to start the year, you know, he may sulk, but whatever.
Yeah,
you know,
I know,
like he'll know it's coming from the best place for him because of Rob.
Yeah, in the chat, I'm seeing some various responses. Hypothetical Man, you're saying your 2 cents are, you know, the Phillies are going to face some teams with mediocre pitching early on, so give Rojas a chance first. Barbara, you're saying that Pache and Rojas are better center fielders than Marsh, but of course this team's focus is on hitting so much. I know Philly Insider, you're mentioning around, you know, Merrifield is that fine insurance but can't, you know, play that full season. Absolutely agree with that. Yeah, and even a couple of you are mentioning, that Rojas sucks, as Dave P is saying. Chris Lemmer is saying that your issue is he just looks lost at the plate sometimes. That's the thing. It's just, there's a lot of different caveats to it. Of course, the beauty of all this, before we move on, is the Phillies have flexibility and versatility. Whit Merrifield being on this lineup, the ability to slide Brandon Marsh in center field. Of course, as we remember, Brandon Marsh is also coming off of that procedure, but he's looking good so far. He looks fine. Everything looks good. Christian Pache gives you flexibility. There is flexibility in what the outfield looks like, what the, who's playing where. So I'm all for completely having these conversations this early on. It's needed. It's great. All right, so let's move along, though, because it's already winding down. We've got a lot to get into as we wrap up here. Most pressing thing that we want to hit on outside of the Phillies, though, specifically the news that broke last night. We had landed from our spring training trip. We're getting back. I got the alert that Blake Snell has finally found a home. Blake Snell going to the Giants on a deal that is significantly less than what originally he had wanted. Back at the end of 2023, way last year in December, Blake Snell was looking for a long-term deal worth $270 to $300 million. He turned down a 6-year offer with the Yankees back in January that was valued around $168 million. All of that to sign a 2-year, $62 million deal with the Giants. And as Susan Slusser said, who covers them very closely, and pointed out on the San Francisco Chronicle, within that deal, the contract includes a $17 million signing bonus that is payable in January of 2026 and will pay him $15 million in 2024. And so we have a deal. And with that, Snell joins the Giants. The rotation has names like Logan Webb, Blake Snell, Kyle Harrison, Jordan Hicks, Keaton Wynn. Blake Snell to the West Coast with the Giants. Finally off the board, and a lot of people are talking about Scott Boras now because, again, he signed a $62 million deal for 2 years after turning down a $168 million deal for 6 years and wanting
basically
$300
a one-year
million.
deal. Scott Boras fucked up. As our friend of the show, Michael Bauman from Fangraphs, tweeted out, Scott Boras is not God. He's not always perfect. And it's okay to talk about it when he messes up. He's a super agent. He's a beast in the game. But it really looks like he screwed up this offseason. His highest paid client this offseason, does anybody know who it is? I tweeted it last night if you saw it. But his highest paid client, and Jordan Montgomery, I highly doubt breaks it, but his highest paid client, do you know who it is?
Well, it's not one of the recent ones, like a
Jung-Hoo Lee is Scott Boras'
clients.
highest paid client this offseason. And he's also on the Giants. So Scott Boras, not the offseason he was looking for. Between Cody Bellinger, Jordan Montgomery, Blake Snell, like he was pushing, $200 million deals.
Yes.
And we've talked about this throughout the offseason. I think teams are kind of sick of getting bullied by Scott Boras. And they just said, not so fast this offseason. And look, the Giants are very much improved. They've remade their roster between Jung-Hoo Lee and Chapman. They got Jordan Hicks. Now they got Blake Snell. I think there was another piece or two. Jorge Soler they brought in. Their best player last year was it Michael Conforto, probably, outside of the pitching staff. So, the Giants are going to be better. They made some big moves this offseason. The NL West is going to be a little bit of a dogfight. Clearly, the Dodgers are the best, but the Diamondbacks are good. The Giants should be pretty decent now. Scott Boras isn't perfect, and it appears it's now very interesting to me to see what Jordan Montgomery goes for. Now, there was a qualifying offer attached to Blake Snell, so that could have affected his market more negatively. I had some people on Twitter last night speculating that Montgomery is going to fetch more than Snell, but Snell's kind of effectively only a 1-year deal. So it depends on, I don't think he's going to get a higher annual average, but I'm curious what the length of that contract would be. If Snell's signing 2-year deals and Montgomery, let's say he agrees to a 2-year deal, I would think that's somewhere in the $55 to $60 million range for 2 years. And of course, it's not my money. But you know, Mr. Middleton, if you want to get irrational, a 2-year deal is fairly palatable. Just saying, let's get greedy. And if it's a 1-year deal, even better. You know, like maybe go pay him $35 million for 1 year. Trade Taijuan Walker, get Jordan Montgomery in here for 1 year, and let's party.
Yeah, exactly.
So Scott Boras, not great.
Yeah. So as you mentioned, not a great move. Now, on the financial side for the Giants, you know, just with even all the contract maneuvering, the signing does put them above the collective bargaining tax as a first-time payer. They now have to deal with all that. Great, lovely. For Scott Boras specifically, as you mentioned, those numbers, Blake Snell, as mentioned, wanted, you know, that $270 million to $300 million, ended up signing for $62. Matt Chapman wanted $150 million, ended up signing for $54 million. Cody Bellinger wanted, at least $200 million. Got $80 million. So for Jordan Montgomery, I mean, these guys are signing for a third, not even of what they initially asked for. I mean, 270 to 62, 150 to 50. Like, the math is not mathing. They're getting significantly less
if you had
than
told
what
me,
they initially, and they all wanted long-term deals.
If you had told me when the Phillies were eliminated
long-term deal,
that Jung-Hoo Lee would be the highest paid Scott Boras client this offseason, I would have told you you were bleeping nuts.
It's
but
insane.
Here he is, the highest paid Scott Boras client.
Yep. And
Wild
they all
times.
they turned down bigger options.
And then the Yankees didn't get re-involved.
No. Well,
Bob Nightingale tweeted this last night. He said that the Yankees chose not to get, you know, they're telling their fans, oh, we're all in. And look, Scott Boras and Blake Snell probably should have taken the 6-year, $150 million deal, lower annual average. But last I checked, Renee, you're the big math expert here, 150 greater than 62.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, the Yankees just went, nah, we're good, actually. The Giants can have them. So if I'm a Yankees fan, I'm like, probably a little pissed because we're the biggest team in the world, and you're telling me we're all in, and we're not.
But, okay, but there's, for the Yankees fans, sure. But for Blake Snell, you're now with the San Francisco Giants instead of being with the Yankees. You're getting paid.
He's a West Coast guy, too.
Yeah, but whatever. You want to be on a team that's a more closer to winning now. But either way.
He wanted the bag. That's what he wanted.
Exactly. It shows there are some guys that want to go after, you know, winning, being a part of a team that could possibly win a World Series, and some guys that just want to get paid, and we see where Blake Snell lands. So, congrats, I guess, to Blake Snell. Scott Boras Ford now down to Jordan Montgomery, you know, as Chapman, Bellinger, and Snell off the board, and now we see where Jordan Montgomery lands.
And somehow JD Martinez, too.
Oh, yeah, another one.
I don't know. I don't think he's Boras, but, like, what the hell is going on? That guy, he's going to give you 30-plus home runs and, like, nearly 100 RBIs as a DH. Like, what? I don't understand.
I will say, apparently, Blake Snell's open tryout, basically, that he had for scouts to be able to watch him paid off because he did at least get a deal. Mike Lorenzen's in the same boat. We're now at a point where guys are taking, simulated opportunities to be able to show scouts what they can do. Because in 2024, teams are putting their foot down. They're not going to spend all this money just because. So Blake Snell finally off the board. We are finally getting closer to opening day. We are going to wrap up with our catchers list. But I wanted to really quickly hit on this because we're going to go over the hour. It's fine. We talked about...
We're already...
Yeah, we talked about hot sauce and things in the beginning. And we had to reset being that we're back in the cold of Philly. As opening day gets closer, we now get guys showcasing what they're going to be rocking to step on the field this year. Speaking of the Yankees, Nestor Cortez has decided he's going to rock some jean cleats. I've heard of jeggings. I like the term jorts. You know what jorts are?
Yes, I'm aware what jorts are. Thank you.
I like some jorts. There's a lot of jean things. There's jean skirts that used to be in style for women. It's made a comeback. You can do overalls. There's a lot of options with jean and denim. Never have I ever.
Oh, we're playing Never Have I Ever now?
Never have I ever seen jean cleats. Put a finger down if you've seen some jean cleats. Or even had a desire to rock jean cleats. Well, there you go. Now you can put a finger down. You've seen some jean cleats. Initial thoughts on this.
Hideous. And
it's
impractical.
very ugly.
And impractical. Jean is a very flexible.
Why do they look?
Cleats should be like sort of wallish. Like your toes
Jeans
shouldn't
a
hit
terrible feeling material.
it. Yeah.
Well, not terrible. Like, I mean, I enjoy wearing jeans,
I
but
haven't
like
worn jeans in.
to wear, that's almost the equivalent of you wearing jeans, in my opinion, to play a sport. They're on your feet.
I don't think I've worn jeans in like 7+ years. I used to be a big jeans guy. Yeah.
Oh, I guess I've never seen you in jeans.
No, I don't wear jeans.
Huh.
Yeah, I would not put
interesting.
them on my cleats if given the opportunity.
You don't wear jean pants? Ever?
Ever? No. Not anymore, no.
So you're okay. That's weird.
Is it?
No jeans?
No jeans.
When's the last time you guys wore jeans?
Tyler's wearing jeans right now.
I'm literally wearing
I
a pair
wear
as we
jeans all the
speak.
time. Like jeans. Again, like for men, you wouldn't wear, I don't know, like even jean shorts?
Oh, God, no.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm not wearing jean shorts.
I don't know.
No.
What, the carpenter Hulk?
I
Am
don't
I going to
know.
walk around with a hammer? No, I'm not wearing jean shorts.
Did you ever?
I've
No.
never worn jean shorts in my life.
Okay. What? Okay. Jean
Unless it
pants,
was-
though?
I mean, yeah, I used to wear jean pants.
Do you guys wear jean pants in the chat? Please let me know.
I mean,
no,
no,
so I will
I'm in the
say-
minority here.
I will
I am
say
very
for
much in the
women-
minority, and
For
I know
women,
that.
we have way more jean options. We have jean jackets. You can wear overalls.
Boyfriend jeans, capri jeans, all sorts of stuff. Yeah, I know. I have a
Whatever.
wife. I talk to females.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jean shorts. Jean shorts for men
Maternity
is
jeans.
an abomination. I will get it. Jorts for men, not a great look. But jean shorts for women obviously is a thing.
Oh, the Daisy Dukes? What up?
You wear it some?
Not me. Nobody wants to see that. But my wife and some Daisy Dukes. Hello.
Calm it down over there. The point is, jean cleats don't look great. Jeans are not something. Remember back in the day when you would first start off playing like sports at like 5, kids be out there in jeans. Like you just don't wear jeans to wear sports of anything.
No, it's
Shoes,
terrible.
Pants, jackets.
Can't
Like
play
there's no
sports in
jeans
jeans.
that you wear playing sports. Jean cleats does not look comfortable. It does not look practical. They look rough, literally rough. Like
Yeah.
it's a scratchy,
Stupid
weird.
cleat.
Yeah, Barbara, jeans with heels. I love
Sure.
that combo.
Go
That's my
girls.
thing.
Yeah, wear those jeans. I'm
So
just not
we
going
also
to.
have, who was that? Jose that was rocking the cleats. Jose's been out here saying some stuff, showing off some stuff. And I feel like Jose is you might be Jose. I feel like you and Jose are very similar.
I feel like we spiritually connected
I feel like
yesterday.
you are. Share the comment because I feel like you do a better impression.
Yeah, if you missed Jose on with T-Mac and Kruk yesterday, he was talking about, he said, bro, I'm a grizzly bear. Sometimes I text my boys that I'm fucking fat. I'm a fat boy. And you can see just from his little bit of personality that you get every once in a while why he's loved in that locker room. Handing out friendship bracelets, self-deprecating humor. He's the man. I like Jose Alvarado a lot.
Yeah.
Just a little glimpse into what makes Jose Jose.
Yeah, for sure. And were these his cleats that we have?
No, those are Bryce Harper's, I believe, opening day cleats.
Oh,
Because Bryce
okay.
in a Todd Zalecki
I do see the 3
newsletter
on
talked
there.
about how much. So his Bryce Harper 9s are coming out, I think, in July, his new line of cleats. And he's already started, and it's a 2-year process he was talking about. So he just finished designing his Bryce Harper 11s, which will be out in 2026. But his wife was quoted as saying, like, he walks around constantly mentioning arm sleeve fanatic designs and cleat designs. And Bryce was talking about how much he loves kind of having a part in kind of his swag out on the field and how much he likes involving the city and the Fanatic and the other teams. And it's kind of like a little mini passion of his.
I
So
love
these
that.
cleats, I believe, are going to be his opening day cleats. They're very busy. There's a look at them. I like the different colored tongues, the blue and red tongue. And he
Okay.
said that what's very important to him is when a lot of guys do these design type of cleats, they're painted on, but they get scuffed and dirtied up really quickly. So he doesn't like that. So he has them actually hard designed by the manufacturer because he doesn't want them scuffed up and dirty.
They look fuzzy too. The light green part. I know.
Yeah, it's
I don't know if you
Fanatic
guys can
green
see
with
it.
the
Yeah,
with the maroon.
it's got like a fuzzy look to it. It's
very
kinda
busy,
wild.
but
very
that's-
busy.
That's a passion
I
of
like
Bryce's.
the fact that I feel like with these individual patches, it's almost like Crocs. You know how you have Crocs, you can add on like the specific. I don't know what they're called. 'Cause I'm not a Croc person, but it's giving that vibe. Like maybe you make like His is especially, of course, designed for him. So very cool. I do like the brightness of it. I was always one that liked wearing bright cleats. I would never rock like denim cleats. That's not a thing. But I love bright colored cleats because I feel like when you're running around, it just looks so cool when you've got these bright cleats on. So,
Look good, feel good, play good.
Exactly.
You know, I know some Eagles say they used to feel faster when they would wear black cleats because they just look.
Black cleats are hot though.
Yeah, but you know they're all right.
Yeah, they are. I mean, you could always be like Shohei Ohtani and get your own logo with New Balance. That was very basic and
interesting logo for.
It's iconic that he got this deal. Great, cool. You know, that's not something you see, but not.
Or maybe first because he's looking at the outfield. I don't know. It's strange.
Well, we finally got to see Shohei Ohtani's wife. We finally got to see the new logo.
She's a big basketball player in Japan.
Oh wow!
She's a hooper. Yeah. She knows ball.
All right. Well, yeah, there you have it. Shohei Ohtani is making a lot of major moves. Marriage, New Balance logo. Good for him. But it's great to see that Bryce is also tapping into some other areas as well. I know in the chat you guys are asking about the City Connects. We're all waiting with bated breath for the Phillies.
It's going to be those ugly ones, I think.
Yeah, it is. It's sad looking that way. All right. Well, this has been fun. Got a lot that we were able to talk through. Of course, we still talk about our top 3 catches, which we'll do that tomorrow. We'll chat with you guys live again tomorrow, 11 a.m., and we'll go through our top 3 catchers list because we're already over time, and it's going to take us some time. We've got to talk about your guy Chooch and different catchers that have played with the Phillies, who made the top 3 and who just missed the list. So we'll have to tease that out because tomorrow we'll talk about that. But either way, more baseball happening today, as is every day. We, of course, enjoy each and every one of you guys tuning in with us to be able to talk through our time in Clearwater, also talking about spring training, the updates, some key takeaways around Yoro and Brandon Marsh and everything going on with the team. And then, of course, on the fashion side, the cleats that guys are rolling out for opening day because we are just 9 days away. Don't forget, one last time to remind you before we wrap up, to join us if you'd like live in person around opening day. We'll have a lot of different activities we'll be doing for opening weekend. And that Thursday, you'll be able to join us as well live at Bet Parks Casino down in South Philly, where you have a chance to hang out. We'll do a watch party. We'll also have a live show happening as well. So lots of fun things coming up here on PHLY Phillies podcast. Be sure to keep following. Stay tuned. Hit that thumbs up button on your way out the virtual doors. And for K-Red, Chris, Philly Insider, Mickey, Barbara, Dr. Nighthawk, everybody that tuned in today, we appreciate you so much and look forward to seeing you back here live 11 a.m. tomorrow for more PHLY Phillies podcast. See you guys.
We all silly like the mayor.